Hi, how are you? Huh? How are you? Ah, okay, how are you and how are you are two very common ways to say to people when you first see them, and often students will reply, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Come on. In this video, I'm going to explain why we shouldn't use I'm fine. I'm also going to give you my absolute favourite reply to how are you, and also the reply that makes me go crazy. I hate it. I'm also going to give you 10 better, more natural, more native alternatives to the question how are you that I really want you to use so that you stop saying I'm fine thanks, how are you? Let's go. If you're new here, I'm Greg. I teach British English pronunciation and upper intermediate and advanced vocabulary and grammar. So if you want to speak advanced English, I will help you. So, how are you? I'm fine. Boring. Oh, and also, nobody says that. Nobody says, I'm fine, thanks, how are you? It's something that you learn in textbooks, and we never use it. And there are so many alternative, better ways to answer the question. Also, while we're talking about this, nobody says, how do you do? How do you do? I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Come on. That's how textbooks speak, not how real native speakers speak. Now, the question, how are you? How are you? How are you? This question gives you an opportunity to make the other person smile. At least, in my opinion. I think the answer really sets the tone for the rest of the conversation. If you give a negative answer, the conversation is quite negative. If you give a really upbeat, energetic, funny answer, you can really set the tone for a nice positive conversation and even make the other person smile before you've even really started talking. With that in mind, I'm going to tell you the answer to how are you that I hate the most in the world. And that is, hey, how are you? It's Monday. What? Come on, be more positive. Monday, best day of the week. Okay, maybe not, but come on, you can be a little bit more positive than, whoa, it's Monday. My favourite answer to how are you is probably what my uncle says when people call him trying to sell him mobile phone contracts, insurance, and they say, hello, mister, how are you? He often says, well, I'm glad you asked. I woke up this morning with a little bit of a back pain. The weather's not great. I spilled some coffee on my lap this morning, so I've burnt my upper leg. So yeah, thanks for asking. How are you? Okay, seriously, you've got to stop saying, I'm fine. There are such better options available. So let's have a look at 10 alternatives that native speakers say. The most common one is, I'm alright. In British English, we often ask, how are you? By saying, you alright? And the answer is, I'm alright. You alright? Yep, I'm alright. We can even make this shorter by saying, alright. Alright. Yes, that's right. Instead of saying, how do you do? I'm fine, thanks. How are you? We just say, alright. Alright. Another way is saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. How are you? I'm okay. Another very common way is not bad. How are you? Not bad. Or we can say, not too bad. How are you? Not too bad. You'll notice that all these ways are a little bit negative. All right, okay, not bad. We're so British. Sometimes I wish we were more American, more positive. How are you? Awesome. But hey, we're British. What are we gonna do? All these examples I've given so far are very common. You will hear them all the time in British English. The next few I'm gonna give you are a little bit more poetic, a little bit less common, but if you say them, you're going to bring a smile to the other person's face. And that's what we want. So, How are you? Can't complain. Can't complain. How are you? Can't complain. Okay, great. If you've got nothing to complain about, then all is good. How are you? Hanging in there. Hanging in there. Hanging like you are hanging off the edge of a cliff. Just about surviving. Hanging in there. It means you're surviving. A couple of really nice ones are not too shabby. Not too shabby. How are you? Not too shabby. Shabby is, well, the dictionary says that shabby is neglected, old looking, inferior. Yeah, this is shabby. So, how are you? Not too shabby. It's just a nice way, a funny way to say not bad. Quite an old-fashioned expression, but one I really like, is fair to middling. So, how are you? Fair. That's like, yeah, 50%. Middling is also middling, so in the middle, so about 50%. So how are you? Fair to middling, so somewhere in between fair and middling, somewhere in between 50% and 50%, in other words, 50%. How are you? Fair to middling. Again, it means neither great nor terrible. Right in the middle, not bad. All right, okay. Fair to middling. Now, if you want to be positive, and please, I recommend you to be positive, we all need to be more positive, then you can say, I'm good. How are you? I'm good. I did a video on the difference between well and good a while ago. I did say that this is actually grammatically incorrect, but I also said that people say this all the time. I say this all the time. So, how are you? I'm good. It's just nice to be a bit more positive than, not bad, okay, all right, can't complain. And if you're not brave enough to be good, you can be pretty good. How are you? I'm pretty good. Wow. Even that sounds more positive than all the usual answers we give to the question, how are you? Now it's funny because when we are okay and good and everything's fine, we always say that we are not bad or okay. We always say the opposite, really, of what we are. If we're great, we say we're okay. If we're fantastic, we say we're not bad. But what happens when we actually are bad? If we're sad, if we've had some really bad news, or if we're ill? Then what we normally say in this situation is that we have been better. I have been better. So we use a positive word in a negative sentence to say that we are bad, in the same way that we use a negative word in a positive sentence to say that we are good. Why do we have to be so complicated? So if you are really bad, you can say, I've been better. I mean, you can say this if someone's died. How are you? I've been better. You could also say, not great, not the best. Again, using positive words, great and the best, but in a negative sentence, not great, not the best, to say that we are bad. So don't say I'm fine, be more native, be more creative, and say one of those alternatives the next time a native speaker asks you, how are you? If you've liked this lesson, please download my book that will help you speak advanced English, and it's free. You can get that by clicking the link in the description. Thanks for being here. I will see you in the next lesson. Just click thumbs up before you leave, and bye for now.